I'm doing an impromptu live to show how I make vegan omelets. I've shown this before, but I'm making some now and figured I would just go live and see how you guys are doing. If you're welcoming in your weekend, if you've got a busy weekend. So these vegan omelets are super easy to make. I just use a blender, some tofu, water, cornstarch, and chickpea flour. Usually I will put some tofu together and just blend it with some water, turmeric, salt, seasonings. When you cook this, you don't want your fire to be too high. Just kind of alternate your fire a little bit. I've got these really cool pans that I can cook 4 things at once, so I got 2 of them and I easily make 8 at a time. As you can see, I've got a lot of mixture. So anyway, what I was saying about the ingredients, right? So you put the tofu with the water. You put about half a cup to a full cup of chickpea flour. About 4 tablespoons of corn flour. This is 2 blenderfuls, and so everything I just said I basically did twice. And then these green and red bits are scallions and red peppers, bell peppers. And I wanted that to kind of be dispersed throughout the omelette, so that's why I blended them in there. But I blend everything first. I also put some crushed garlic in there, black pepper, mushroom seasoning, nutritional yeast, and I mentioned already turmeric, probably about a teaspoon and a half, maybe 2 teaspoons of turmeric. And then you can also put parsley, any fresh herbs, etc. that you want. When it's good to go, it will kind of be loose from the pan. And what we do every morning, this is meal prep, so I'm prepping this now, and this will basically be for the whole week. I also use a little bit of oil in there. Usually I use coconut oil. Today I ran out and I just have vegetable oil, so about 1.5 tablespoons of that. You can see here, these are all loosey-goosey. So these are all ready. And it's still kind of it's not hella soft, but it's got a little softness to it. And then as it kind of cools down, it stabilizes, but it's still great on its own. And we'll have this with vegan ham, a couple of these because it's protein rich. Sometimes I'll put cassava flour in there as well for the extra fiber. And it's really delicious, to be honest. It's lovely. And I really like the mushroom seasoning in here. It makes a big difference. If you're only making a small batch, maybe just for yourself, you wouldn't make this much. Try not to overfill it, like that one's too much. This one is good. You get more of them out of it, and also it does tend to prevent it from being too kind of stodgy in the middle. And usually if I do 1 blender full, it will just be in the blender. I won't pour it into this bowl, but because I did double the amount, that's why I've ended up pouring it into the bowl. I'm not worried about the mess because I'm going to clear that up after. And this is just a great breakfast. You can sneak veggies in here easily. Once they've cooled down, you can store them in the fridge or you can freeze them. And they usually take about 5 minutes on a medium heat. to cook through. I do not put it up on a high heat because you want it to kind of get a little bit cooked on the edges, and then like the middle bit to kind of get a little bit set before you move them over. So this is what they look like, the vegan omelettes. You can use like a normal skillet as well to do them, but I like to do them in these pans so that I can get more, and this will be enough for like a whole week and a little bit more than that. I eat them most days. My hubby will definitely eat 2 or 3 of these, and they're not really fattening too much. They're really great. They're tasty. Let's see if I can get you some better lighting here. And then you can kind of put some what do you call it, nutritional yeast, extra nutritional yeast on it. You can put miso paste. I forgot to do that actually this time. That's a shame. Anyway, you can put white miso paste in, and it gives it a really strong, cheesy type flavor. It's really, really nice. You see here, just letting that cook, and you see here at the edges, you can see it's starting to set, but you do not want to turn it over yet. This is leave it alone. I'm just going to turn that up just a tiny bit and then just let that fully set. Turn this one up a bit as well. And this batch, what I'm doing, I don't know how many milliliters it is, but I just want you to most importantly just see the consistency. It is pretty runny, but because it has cornstarch in it, that will help it to firm up later. And also, of course, the cassava flour, which is fibrous. So it's kind of sloppy. I'm doing some other meal prep, which you can see in the meantime while we're waiting for these to set. You can see here, it's setting much better here. You can see the middle part is still wet, but it's setting nicely. I'm actually doing some potato wedges. I don't know if you've ever had homemade potato wedges, but I'm doing homemade potato wedges as well, and they are so good. Just basically cut up 3 kilos of potatoes and then put them in the air fryer with a little bit of oil. Sometimes I'll season it and sometimes I won't, because I might want to add like a different type of seasoning at the time. So I'm just going to put this on for another couple of minutes. This is on Celsius. And I'll make a big, huge batch and then just pack them into the freezer in like 200 or 300 gram bags. Just put them in the freezer, and then whenever we need them, just take it out, and it's 10 minutes in the air fryer. Here's some I made earlier, and they're just lovely. So they, like, I would say probably like 80% cooked. You don't want to overcook, because if you're prepping them, when you cook them the next time, like when you're ready to eat them, you don't want them to be kind of super overcooked. So they're still kind of a little bit hard, but not really hard. They're kind of par cooked. All right, and that's how you can prep loads of potato wedges, build up a freezer of really healthy food that you don't have to kind of buy food from the store. Even frozen wedges and stuff like that, it's not all just potato, and it's better to kind of like have the most healthy option that you can for yourself and your family. Anyway, here we go. I'm going back to have this effect. You can see here, this one is ready for me to flip. It's a little bit wet in the middle, but not loads, and it's mainly dry on the edges. So I'll stick my silicone spatula in, get it moving a little bit, stick this underneath, and then just flip it. And then on the other side, it needs less time, probably only about 1 minute. And this is how you get really, really yummy breakfasts in a couple of minutes, because if you microwave this, it's a minute and a half to microwave. It's healthy, it's made at home, you know what's in it, it's not going to give you any problems. And as you can see, it looks really beautiful. So inside, I just want to remind anybody who's just coming onto the live, it is red bell peppers, scallions, chickpea flour, tofu water, seasonings, turmeric, mushroom seasoning, salt, pepper, and nutritional yeast. And you can see here it's kind of yellowish but more cream color, like a very, very light yellow, but once it's cooked it comes out super yellow. I guess it's just part of the process. I do use a bit of turmeric, but not enough for it to be that yellow when it's in here. Otherwise, once it cooks, it'll be super yellow. If you really miss the eggy flavor, I've got an amazing tip for you. My husband doesn't like it, but I used to like the eggy flavor. So what you would use is Himalayan sea salt, the black one. And it is basically sulfur. The smell of sulfur in it is so strong that I have a friend, she doesn't like eggs, but she is a meat eater, and she was over at my place and I got one piece, and I didn't know that she didn't like egg. I just know that she likes meat, and I made her taste it and she gagged because it tastes so much like egg. But just because she doesn't like the taste of egg. Her husband likes the taste of egg. He tasted it, he's like, how's this egg? It's salt. So you just use a little bit of that, and it really makes a super eggy flavor. If you're trying to replace egg for your kids or your family, you can use the black salt, because it will still have that flavor of egg in it. Now, this recipe here, obviously I'm doing these as like omelettes, right, as a formed omelette, but you could also do this as a scrambled egg with, you know, bits in it, or without the bits if you didn't want the bits. Just salt, pepper, mushroom seasoning, turmeric, the black salt. Use a skillet, get it hot, put a little bit of oil on the bottom, put a layer in there, and then let it kind of cook, and then just break it up with your spatula, and it will come out like scrambled eggs. I've done this not with it that way, but what I've done is like when I make my poke bowls, I think it's poke bowl. Anyway, when I have my lunch, on some days I want kind of like an extra boost of protein, and I'll have like a salad and whatever else, and then I'll get a couple of these out, and then I'll just kind of break them up, and it really looks like scrambled eggs. So these ones are pretty much ready to go in the side, and you can see here, these are the omelettes that I made about 10 minutes ago, and you can see that they are much firmer, and so those are going to be really, really lovely. And like I was saying, when it gets a little bit extra firm, that's, you know, just from it sitting for a few minutes. Just be careful not to burn them. These ones are okay, but they're just the okay side of getting too brown. These ones are better. I'm going to take these ones out as well. These ones are a little bit better. Okie doke. All right, so that's pretty much it. I'm gonna keep going until I've finished all of them, and as you can see here, this is already 16. I have tons more mix, so I will probably get a good 35, 40 pieces. Put them in the freezer, and that's breakfast taken care of for over a week. And it really, really does help out, especially on those busy mornings. I'm super busy in the morning, and the last thing I need to do is be in the kitchen for like 40 minutes making food. So anyway, just a little tip: if you are prepping stuff for your meal prep, I just really highly encourage you to prep multiple things simultaneously so that your time is maximized. Don't just do the omelets. Like right now I'm doing omelets. I'm also doing some homemade potato wedges, which will make loads of potato wedges. These have been soaking in salt. I'm doing some boiled tofu, which I'm going to season and then leave marinating in the fridge. And then whenever I want to eat my lunch, I'll just put it in the air fryer, or I might just air fry or put it in the oven today, depending on my time. And I'm also going to be showing you a follow-up of the video I did the other day. I've been trying to get some time, well, not even time, space on my phone. I'm really struggling. I need to get like a new chip or something. But I've been trying to get some space on my phone so I could film the video about the vegan beef, and I haven't had the time and the space on my phone. So it's going to take about 2.5 hours to cook. I know with what I'm preparing, it's going to take me about that much time, because I'm going to do some quinoa, which will cover me for my meals for the week. I might do a little bit of wholemeal pasta for my husband. So I'm going to be in the kitchen for probably at least 3 hours. So I'm going to really make the most of the time and just get as much out as I can. Tomorrow's Sunday, and I do not want to food prep all day Sunday. And I know if I get in here, don't know about you, this adulting thing is something else. If I get in the kitchen on Sunday morning to prep, I'm going to be in the kitchen the whole day. I know myself enough. I'll find things to do. And I want to have a restful Sunday. I had a busy day already today. So I'm just going to try and get as much as I can done. And have myself a good restful Sunday. So what I'm going to do now is, if you're watching this live, you're going to be like, where is she? But I'm just going to put the phone down so I can go and get the vegan beef from the fridge, which has been sitting there uncooked for a little while. I want to say probably 2 weeks, if I'm honest, which doesn't matter, because the way that I mix it, if you've got a good quality fridge that keeps things at a good temperature and you wrap it up real good, it will just keep developing. The gluten will just keep developing. It's almost like aged, you know. So I'm gonna go and get that in just a second. I'm just gonna flip this over, and then I'm gonna show you that too. And that will go along with the live that I did before. I will probably edit these all together. I feel like that's kind of almost there. It'll be ready in like a second. So for anybody just joining, here are the vegan omelets. I'm probably going to make a batch of about 40. They're so easy to make. And if you get something like this, or if you have like one of those cool pans that's like a sheet pan and you can put it on the stove, or even if you do it like a frittata, you can do that as well. But I've got a lot of mix here left, and I have mentioned the recipe a couple of times already, but I will type it in the description. All right, let's go here. All right, this one's a little wetter than I would like, but I would like to show you what happens when you flip a slightly wetter one. It's doable, but you just have to have very good, steady hands. And when you're going to flip, don't kind of hold your hand here. Put your hand further back so that it kind of gets into the right space and you don't kind of have too much spillage. Alright, I'm going to turn both of these down. Put that here. See if I can set my camera here. And then I'm going to go to get this stuff out of the kitchen, out of the fridge. Alright. Okay, I'm back. So I wanted to show you my food prep. We've got the vegan omelettes, which are all just cooking away. We've got the boiled tofu, and I really love the boiling of it first. Why I boil it first before I marinate it is it gives it some more stability. The type of tofu you buy does matter. This is kind of like a soft-ish tofu, and it's super cheap for me to buy, and it's made fresh and packaged daily. So I buy that and I'll put it in a big pot like this. I'll get loads of it, boil it, and then I will basically season it and then just leave it to marinate, and it turns out so much better when I have it with my lunch. Then I'm simultaneously doing these potato wedges, which have been soaking. They've just been cut up and they've been soaking for most of today because I was busy. And I'm just going to go ahead and rinse them off because they've been soaking in salt. So if I don't rinse it, they will it's not going to be great. So I'll rinse that off. And then because of the country I live in, at the moment, you have to use tap water, what do you call it, bottled water. So I'm just gonna throw a little bit of bottled water on that. I just sometimes use the tap water to get rid of the dirt or something like that, and then I will always follow up with using the proper water. Okay, so let me get a couple of pieces of tissue. Let's go over here, just make sure you bad boys aren't burning. Tip you out. Also tip you out. Put on another batch. And you can see here I've got the beef. It's already been mixed. It's been 2 or 3 weeks. This has just been sitting in the fridge, and the gluten's just been developing. And now I'm going to put another batch on. This is the vegan omelettes, and they are so eggy. Like the texture, look at that. It's not hard, it's just really got a good texture for it. Alright, so let's get, if you are doing pouring and you have stuff in it, like, you know, I've got scallions and peppers in this, just make sure that how you pour, you're actually getting some of that stuff on it as well. Alright, so while those are going, I can focus here. I've got my tissues. Just gonna use that. I've probably got another 2 or 3, I think 3 more batches with that. I've already done 2 batches. This will be third, so yeah, probably 7 batches. And this will be several weeks worth of wedges. We don't eat them every day. I can't eat potato anymore, actually, so my hubby won't eat them every day. So that's pretty much that taken care of. All I'll do is give it a little spray. It's you can use any oil you want. I'm using today vegetable oil. Usually I use coconut oil, but I ran out of stock and tried to get some more today delivered, but didn't have any success. So just go ahead and throw that in. And then that's it pretty much. Kind of take a little bits here. Yeah, that's it. Alright, so just gonna put that on in the air fryer to part cook. It's gonna be on 200 for I smell you guys. Patience. Alright, so it's gonna be 200 for call it 14 minutes. Alright, let's get back to these guys. They're a bit demanding at the moment. This bit here fell in the middle, so let me get rid of that. And this is what I was saying about doing many smaller ones rather than loads of big ones, because you're going to mix it with other things, so you don't need it to be super thick anyway. And the texture is better, to have it not be too deep, and it cooks easier. So I recommend, if you're using something like this, don't fill it all the way. This isn't ready. Let's turn that one up a little bit. Alright, now I've got my oven on. It's going to be, it's in the wrong setting. Alright, so I'm going to put it on 200 just to get hot. And I'm going to basically prepare this. So it's already in its container, in its cooking tray. So all I need to do is just flip it over and baste it. So this is my vegan beef, which I did another live on a couple of weeks ago. And I cooked some already. This is the part that was left over. And you can see, I just want to show you this. And that's what I mean about the gluten development, just continues even though it's in the fridge. So I'm just gonna turn it over here. Normally I'd use tongs. An old school time. Alright, I've got this little bit in the middle. And this one here. And I had previously basted it already, so that's why it's kind of still moist, and that moisture is important for it. There's salt and all kinds of stuff in there, so it really does help. And I'm just gonna put a little bit more put a little bit more of the basting sauce in there. Get a little bit of water. Alright, so just gonna baste it, because you don't want this to be like super dry. It has to be moist to get all the flavors in. And as I said earlier, this is going to take about 2.5 hours, so there's no time like the present. I might as well get it started. Get rid of this plastic wrap. and I'm going to take it down to about 175 Celsius, and I'm going to put it on for about 30 minutes, and then I'm going to turn it over and then just put some more basting liquid on top of it. So I don't have to do anything with that for now. I got some really cool sauces from the vegan Chinese, so I'm going to put those in there as well because it's got a nice flavor. Alright, so here is some more those vegan omelettes. So hot as well. Last week I made what do you call it, vegan pita breads, and I'm on the fence. Sorry, not vegan, well yes it's vegan, but pretty easy pita breads, but I'm on the fence. I might either make more of that or just make some normal bread, which will just be wheat flour. And I also got some spelt flour this week, so I might do kind of like a oat wheat spelt mix. I have to be really careful about the stuff I eat now, because I have a condition, so I have to kind of be really careful with what I'm consuming. And I'm doing pretty well since I've made some changes. So this is here already, 8, 16, 24. There's already 24 done. Yeah, wow, okay, this is gonna be loads. So this will make 32. I would say I'm probably gonna get another 3 rounds, 2 or 3 rounds out of this. So we are winning. This is a really great yield, and if you're gonna make it, you might as well just make a batch, like a good batch. I'm hungry now though. I haven't eaten for quite a few hours. And this is a vegan omelette. No egg required. Tastes so good. It's got cheesy flavor from the nutritional yeast. Look at that. With the bell peppers, the scallions. And it's got that nice floppiness that you would look for if you got an egg. Oh, it's so nice. Oh, that is so good. Thumbs up. Right, let's see if these are done. I think they are. Oh man, that tastes good. That's insanely good. It's really, really good. Right, let me put on, giving this one just a few moments longer. Oh wow, I might have to eat another one. This is so good. Dang. That's really good. Alright, you see that one? I left that on just a little long. It won't stay crispy because it's warm. It will kind of get soft, but just showing you to try to avoid getting it too brown. does get a bit brown inside of your pan, you'll have a little bit of remnant of the brown, so just get that out. This is a reminder of what it looks like in the end. Alright, so while those are all going, what I'm going to do is start on the marinade for this. I don't want them to be as big as this, so now that it's kind of like firmed up, it's not so soft as it was before, and I just boiled it for like maybe, I don't know, 15 minutes or so. And I'm going to kind of cut these in half ish. Get me a working space here. I need a knife turn these down so they don't cook too fast while I'm got my attention on something else. And I will need a bowl. Alright, so this is gonna be for my lunch. This is gonna be braised tofu. So I've already boiled this. These are the omelettes, vegan omelettes, and they are so good, like insanely good. Have a look at that. Doesn't that look eggy? So good. This will yield probably 40 plus. Well, not probably, I know for sure it's going to be more than 40. It's got red peppers, scallions, and now I'm also prepping potato wedges so I don't have to buy them from the store when they're not so healthy. I'm also prepping vegan beef, which I make completely from scratch. There's more potato wedges going, and then now I'm doing the tofu that I'm going to marinate for my lunch this week. The last 2 weeks I haven't had the time to do that, and I've really suffered from it. When I don't have something available to eat, I just won't eat, and obviously that's not good for me. And my husband and I eat different things, like he won't eat the tofu like this, so and I can't eat the gluten anymore. But yeah, so it's easy for me. I'll just make him something to eat, but then I'll kind of be really lackadaisical on what I cook for myself. So by doing this, I'm prepping in advance, and I'm giving myself a chance to have a very successful week on my food plan. I've been doing great on my food plan. So this is going to be, I think this is going to give me 2 more rounds. These are the omelettes here. And like I said before, you can do these on like a normal skillet. I've got these because it makes it easier to portion them up. But you can do it on a normal skillet, or you can do the same recipe and use it as scrambled eggs, vegan scrambled eggs. And for the eggy flavor, you would use black salt, and it has the flavor of egg without you having to actually eat eggs. And I don't know if you've ever looked at into how they mine that salt, but it's a lot of work. So something as simple as salt, sea salt, Himalayan salt, etc., all of that, all the natural salt, it's a lot of work that they go through to make something that we just use so easily and throw over our shoulder if we haven't if we've taken out too much. Definitely worth checking out on YouTube how salt is made, natural salt is made. It's a lot of physical hard labor involved in it, so we're very grateful for the people who actually endure that for us to have flavor on our food. All right, so getting some more of these, and for the seasoning of this, it's really important that I don't just dry season. I will actually add some liquid to it as well, so that it can kind of like absorb and kind of get in between all of these pores. And this is one of the reasons why I like to cook it first, because sometimes when you cook tofu, if you haven't boiled it first, it's just, you cut it and it's just straight, like you can't get the flavor into it. Whereas if you boil it, you get all these kind of like bubbles throughout. So when you season it and leave it to marinate, it kind of gets in deeper. That's what I found anyway, certainly with the tofu that I buy. So if you're prepping your food today, or you're planning to do your food prep, or you're thinking about what you're going to eat this coming week, I definitely recommend take a little bit of time, do some food prep in advance, and then you've got much more control over your food choices for the week. It feels so good to have control over those food choices, because the food in the shops is, I often say, there really isn't anything out there for me. Not only are we vegan, but I also have specific dietary issues, and there's things I can't eat, like, I have issues with things like MSG. I'm always conscious about cleanliness of different establishments, and yeah, there's a lot of things I can't eat now, which have changed in the last few months, and so I'm just trying to be as responsible as I can. But it's hard being an adult, you know? It takes a lot of energy and effort to take care of yourself, and it's not really something I think, as old as I am, that I was mentally prepared for how much time it takes to prepare food, to take care of yourself. Even if you have help, and I do have help, but I still do the prime, like all the cooking. I have help to kind of prep the ingredients, so like all of the vegetables and fruits and stuff like that, I do have help with that. But the cooking, it does take time. It's a lot of work. So I'm still hungry because I didn't eat anything much today. I ate at about 8 or 9 a.m. and then I had some chickpea cakes, like rice cakes, and I haven't eaten that much since then. And I'm hungry, so I'm gonna have one of these. I'll show you what it looks like as well. All right, so this is it's got red peppers, scallions, nutritional yeast for the flavor of cheese. And you could also put like things like vegan bacon or whatever. You can put all kinds of stuff in this. Plantains, whatever you like. It's so good, look at that. It's so good. It's a great way to sneak veggies in as well if you want to make this for your kids. And this type of prep is brilliant because you can just leave it in the fridge the whole week. Just make sure it's in a container, a closed container. But it will last in your fridge for the whole week. Depending on how many you eat a day, maybe slightly longer than that, or how big your batch is. And Oh gosh, this tastes so good. Anyway, yeah, you can also freeze them, and then when you want to eat them, 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes in the microwave, minute and a half is enough. I don't eat bread anymore. Well, not bread with store-bought bread. I can make it myself, but not store-bought. But imagine this with store-bought bread, vegan bacon, whatever else makes your morning amazing. Maybe pancakes. Oh gosh, so good. The flavor, if I can explain the flavor, it's kind of like how do I explain it? It's like a cheesy eggs, because the nutritional yeast makes it flavor slightly cheesy. Now, what I forgot to do on this batch was use some white miso paste, and I'm telling you, that pumps up the cheesy flavor big time. But I forgot to do it, and I'm operating with one hand because I'm holding the camera, so I didn't bother to do it. But yeah, it's got kind of like a cheesy, light, scrambled egg type texture when you eat it. That's what it kind of tastes like. And then, like I said earlier, if you haven't heard me, for the flavor of egg, if that's something that you're looking for, you want to use black salt. Black salt will give you the eggy flavor, so you'll have the complete texture and flavor mix. Going back to the tofu, you can see all these big bubbles and holes, so it's going to be so much easier to get flavor into that. And I'll leave that for probably 2 days, 1 or 2 days. I will have some of it tomorrow, but I won't cook all of it tomorrow. I want to get it kind of at least one full day to marinate. And here's some more of these wedges, which are looking great. Make your wedges at home, folks. Buy your potatoes, cut them up, soak them in salt water, rinse them off, and make yourself some home fries. They taste better, they're more filling, you know what's going in them, and it's easy to do. It's not even difficult. It's literally from potato to French, to wedges in like 15 minutes, less than 20 minutes. And you can season them up how you want. Put some vegan cheese on there. Alright, these are almost ready. Give them 10 seconds more. I need to stop eating these, but they taste so good. Vegan omelettes. When I first became vegan like 20 years ago, I didn't know anything like this was possible. And at one point I was living in Spain, and where I was living, the options for vegans were so small. And we used to have to buy like pizzas and stuff like that. It just was very, very limited. And my knowledge of being able to eat, well, was very limited. So I didn't know that I could make vegan meat and vegan omelettes and stuff like that at home. If I ever knew that, but while you grow in life, you experience things, you learn things, you pick things up along the way. You're not supposed to know everything, not at the beginning anyway. You know a lot, but you learn a lot while you go along the way in your journey. And the journey's pretty beautiful when you're kind of open to it. I do know there's a lot of vegans who are kind of like give other people who don't follow the lifestyle a hard time. I don't do that. I do understand that not everybody's going to be a vegan. Me, myself, I have been a vegan since 2008. Yeah, 08, I think. January of 08 or of 09, I can't remember. My husband remembers. But before that, we were vegetarians since 2003. which was the year after we got married, so I remember that one easily. And I just didn't know about this stuff. You know, my sister was a vegan and she would buy a lot of these things. But I didn't know you could actually make them at home from scratch. And I'll be honest, I wasn't one of those vegans who liked chickpeas or sorry for the bad camera, I'm trying to do something with my hand. I wasn't one of those vegans who liked things like chickpeas and, you know, lentils and stuff. I think I made lentils once in my life. I made my first batch of chickpeas ever about a month ago, because I have to eat more protein without having gluten, even though my videos show me making gluten. I was eating that up until I want to say a month and a half, 2 months ago, but I can't eat it anymore. All right, so but my husband still eats it, so I'm still making those videos because I know a lot of people have options. But now I'm going to start to incorporate seitan options as well, because I can't eat that, and I want sausages. I want sausage, so I've been thinking about a good meaty kind of vegan sausage that doesn't use gluten, which is the vital wheat gluten, which I normally use to make my vegan meat. And I'm gonna figure that out, and then I'm gonna do a video for you guys and show you, and we can see the results together. I got a pretty good idea as to what I'm gonna use for the substance of it. I have an amazing sausage recipe that uses gluten. I haven't made it for so long because once I figured out how to make vegan ham, it was on. We really love that vegan ham. So now that I have to make some choices, I'm going to be definitely pulling together a good recipe for the vegan sausage. I'll let you guys know when I do that. So okay, hi, they look very tasty. What's the actual recipe? Okay, so I'll tell you the recipe. I want you to see how big these pieces of tofu are. So these are not massive, okay? Some of them are that big, some of them are smaller, that big. They're actually slightly smaller than that. I will use about 10 pieces of that, right? Put it straight into a blender and put, let's say you put that in and it's about that much of the tofu, right? You cover the tofu with water, just normal. If you use tap water in your country, that's fine. And then use about a quarter cup of nutritional yeast. I use mushroom seasoning that has no MSG because I can't eat MSG, it affects me. But if you can, then that's fine. If you don't have mushroom seasoning and you have MSG, you can use that. I'll put parsley to taste, a teaspoon of salt. You can either use garlic powder or fresh garlic. Today I have some fresh garlic right here, so I just basically crushed it because I didn't know if it would fully blend the way that I was doing. I wanted it to be fully crushed, so I just basically used a garlic press. Okay, then I will use black pepper. If you want it to taste eggy, use black salt. This one is the coarse one and I'll crush it at the time. But you can get it where it's fine and the flavor is like egg. You cannot decipher the flavor between egg. So if you do want the eggy flavor, then you go for that. You can put whatever seasonings you like. I use black pepper. If you like Cajun seasoning or celery salt, whatever it is else you want to use, you use it for your taste. Then I use corn flour. and probably about 3 to 4 tablespoons will be for 1 blender full. And then I also use chickpea flour, and it will be like almost a cup. And if you put a little bit extra, that's fine too, because that will be your protein booster. Yes, the tofu has protein, but not enough. So you will use chickpea flour. For fiber, I'm trying to get the amount of fiber I eat up. I also use cassava flour. It's gluten-free. And I will use maybe like a whole cup, maybe a little bit more, whatever my hand feels like. This is a very forgiving recipe. And then separate to that, just put the extra water in. Make sure it's fully covering your tofu with probably an extra 2 inches on top of that. Because once you've got the right amount of tofu in, what I've seen when I've kind of played around with this recipe is if you don't have enough tofu, you're not going to get that floppy, eggy texture. But once you have enough of the tofu, it's forgiving with how much water you put in. And because you're using cornstarch, and you can use cassava flour, but you don't have to. If you don't use the cassava flour, just use extra of your chickpea flour. You can put paprika in there, whatever. And also 1.5 teaspoons of turmeric. That's how you get some more of the yellow color. The yellow color comes from turmeric and also from the nutritional yeast. And so that's basically how you get that that good texture. You need enough of the tofu. What I also did is I used some cut up. I'm using loads of bags. I know it's not great for the environment. I'm sorry. I'm still trying to get this off together. But I get my helpers to cut up loads of veggies and stuff, and then they'll just bag them all up in the fridge, and it's easier for me. So cut loads of bell peppers. I do that blend first and make sure it's like smooth and it's good. If I need more water, I'll add more water. I never need to add more tofu, just more water. And it will be kind of sloppy. It will seem a bit runny as well, actually, but once you've got enough of the cornstarch, that will balance out. So I wouldn't worry about that. If you are worried, take it up to 5 or 6 tablespoons of the cornstarch. It's not a problem. As long as you've got enough tofu, you'll get that floppiness that you're looking for. Anyway, so once I blend it, then I put, and it's smooth and I'm happy with it, then I'll put some red peppers, because the doctor said it's very good for the body, for some of the goals that I have. So put red peppers and also the scallions, cut up scallions. And you can do any kind of greens, like you can put your favorite herbs, whatever it is, whatever spices, whatever flavor you love, put that in there and just give it a quick blitz, and then that's it. And it will come out with that kind of consistency what I showed before. You might not have been on the live, but I will re-upload this. But it's kind of like, it's not thick at all. And then once it cooks, that's when it kind of comes out like this. And once you take it out, it's kind of like a little bit soft, but when it cools down, it kind of gets a little bit more firm. But if you do not have a cornstarch, it will not be as great, because the cornstarch helps kind of keep everything together. You can do it. I have done it when, I think it was last week, I just didn't realize I didn't have any cornstarch, and I did it with the just the fiber rich cassava flour, and it still came out good. It was still a week's worth of stuff, but it is different when you use the cornstarch, so I definitely recommend using that. Hit me with any other questions if you've got them. While I'm doing this, I just might as well show you what else I've got going on here. Getting a bit messy here, sorry about that. All right, so right now I'm also cooking some vegan beef. And I'm going to turn it over in a minute. So it's going to be So good. It's only a bit way through the cooking process, only 20 minutes in, and it's got loads of juice in there. So I have done a video. Oh, you're welcome, love. You're so welcome. It's really good. If you make a good batch, like when I made this bowl that I moved a minute ago, I did 2 blenderfuls, and it's going to give a yield of more than 40. You just put them in the fridge. Once they're cooled, let them cool, and then you just put them into like bags or a container. Use multiple containers so that you don't keep opening and closing, and that's it. I mean, if you want, you can actually like put some parchment paper, like kind of get a few of them on a row, put parchment paper on top, do another one, so on, and build up a little tower, put that in a plastic, or some type of other, good container, and put them in the freezer, and then you'll be able to take them out one by one whenever you need them. But for my family, we're going to get through this in a week and a half, which means next weekend I don't have to do food prep. Hi, Tim. Welcome. Nice to have you back. So, yeah, here you go. That's it. You got your lovely vegan. Look, I'm going to use any excuse I can to eat these because I'm hungry and I haven't eaten much today. So I'm going to show you what it looks like when you take a bite out of it. All right. It is delicious. Right. Okay, here you go. It's got red peppers, red bell peppers, scallions. Okay, look, check this. I'm going to take a bite. Look at that. That fluffy, eggy flavor. And the texture is great. It's so good. This will make you hungry. And it's so satisfying in the morning because it's got protein in it. So you got that extra boost of protein in the morning. You don't have to eat as much to make it through the morning. It's so good. And then meantime, I boiled all of this tofu, and now that I've boiled it and I cut it, you can see all these holes, and I'm going to season this and leave it to marinate for at least a day. Yeah, the pans are great. They were so cheap. These pans were insanely cheap. I bought one and I was kind of like operating with just one because I used them to make pancakes or whatever. And I was like, man, this is too good. If I had 2 of them, because I have a 2 hob situation, not a 4 hob, but it's just so much faster to do your food prep. I was like, I could cut my time in half. It's way better than just having one whole skillet. But if you're going to do it in one whole skillet, you can get scrambled eggs effect. So you would do it like this. Don't make it too high. Get a sear on the bottom and then like kind of start flipping it over bit by bit and until it's all broken up, and then you have scrambled eggs. You have tofu scramble. But yeah, oh, so good. Anyway, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to season these up, and I'm also at the same time doing homemade wedges. So we had 3 kilos of potatoes delivered this morning. And just wash them. They are soaking in salt. Just give that a rinse and then put them in. So they are so easy. And at least you know what's in it. I feel like that's the big important thing, is knowing what's in it. And so for these, you just flip them. When it's moving, when it easily, freely comes apart from whatever's underneath, that's when you know it's ready. Don't overcook them. That's it. Now, if I wasn't filming, this wouldn't have taken me an hour. It would have been a lot quicker. Sorry. Okay, here we go. So that's it. So that now takes care of over a week's worth of prep of those foods. And then I'll just show you, if you didn't see already, the beef is already pinged, so now I need to turn it over. Keep the fire on. And no, it's not going to baptize me. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and turn these over. There's still plenty of juice in here, so I don't need to add any right now. But I need to make sure that the beef never touches the foil. I'm just going to flip these over. I just want you to see how beautiful that looks. Look at the underneath. And this is just like 20 minutes into cooking. Oh, this is just my my glove. I think that's what you mean, right? Oh, these! When you wash the dishes, you hang your cups on them. I have got this, but we kind of like wash up in big batches, so. All right, let's get this from underneath. And then get this last big ones. I'm a bit scared because it's moving around a bit. Oof. And this bit's going to be heavy. And this will be enough for like 2+ weeks. Last time I did this was 3 weeks ago, and we didn't have enough last week, so that means that it will do for 2 weeks. There we go. Yeah, you really do have to try the beef. It's so good. Look at that. The texture is so wild. And what I discovered just over a week ago is once you finish this cooking process, which takes about 2.5 hours, but once you finish this process, you can easily, once it's cooled down, it's been in the fridge, you just take it out and you blitz it in the blender or in the food processor, and you have vegan mincemeat, like, what do you guys call it? Ground beef, vegan ground beef. And putting that into anything, like a pie, so many different things. It was so good. Last week I put it into stuffed potatoes for my hubby. So good. All right, here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and put that back in now. And I do all this stuff with the craziest, smallest stuff. You guys, I probably have a full-size oven. I have this. So I live in a country where ovens are not typical in people's houses. So I had to buy a small oven like this. And I have my air fryer, I have my microwave, and I have my omelettes. Oh, the omelettes. Oh. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and season this one up and let you see, and then I want to put another one of these on. Yeah, your oven's bigger. Yeah, I'm sure it is. I think the next house I move into, I'm gonna make sure there's an oven for sure, like a big one. But it's quite amazing what I'm able to accomplish from this small space. Because I'll even do like cakes and all sorts from this very, very small space. All right, let me get this up here. And this is the think I'm going to try to get this done in 2, so that will be enough. This is just salt water. So the potatoes have been sitting in soap water, and you can't leave them without being submerged in water or they'll go brown. All right. And I need to go and get some, I'll use this. I need to use water. I have a water dispenser, don't worry for me. I just have this one for the kitchen when we're washing veggies and stuff, because where I live you can't drink the tap water. All right, so now I'm just gonna go ahead and just lightly dry that. I'm offended by this potato. It doesn't look pretty. I'll cut that off. All right, just gonna give it a light situation here, then I'll show you the tofu. Thank you so much. I want to know, I don't want to say your name wrong. Is it Cernos or Chenuso? Cernos? My brain says Cernos. Cernos. Can you phonetically type it? Then I'll remember. All right, so here we go. And thank you very much. Yes, I am very proud of what I've been able to accomplish. Actually, I wasn't even cooking. I was cooking a lot before the pandemic. I cook every day, but I never cooked like this. The way I do stuff now is just so different. And after the pandemic, we just didn't want to eat any processed food, and we just wanted to stay like super healthy. And I think I've done a good job of helping us do that. I'm just going to give this a little bit of oil. And throw that in here. All right, so that will take care of that. All right, now let's get to seasoning. Right, I season my food quite a lot. I like food to have full flavor. So for this, I'm going to be seasoning Kernonos. Did I say that right? Thank you for that, because I would have just said it so wrong and just butchered it. That's why I haven't said your name from earlier. Kernonos. Okay. All right, I got it. Kernonos. All right, thank you. All right, so for this, I'm going to season with, thank you very much, Kernonos. All right, so I'm going to season this with garlic powder. I'm just going to shake. I'm not doing no measuring. You guys can just figure it out from what I'm doing. So that's parsley. And umami. This mushroom seasoning is like, it makes everything taste good. Everything tastes better with this. Just gonna shake a little bit of that in there. Probably a tablespoon, just under. Then I'm gonna put a little bit of salt. This seasoning, the mushroom seasoning, already has salt, so be careful with that. But it's tofu, and we know tofu needs all the help she can get. So I'm putting a little bit of pink salt in there. And then I'm gonna put some black pepper, if it will cooperate with me and open. I'm usually tidier than this, but I only have one hand, guys. I need to get a tripod or something. All right, and let me see if there's anything missing. I'll put a little bit of nutritional yeast in there for some good flavor. And then I will also, I want to get a little bit of, normally I'll put like oil and all this kind of stuff, but I'm trying to be really good with my oil intake and minimize my oil intake. So I'm not going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to put a little bit of water in here so that it can kind of transit through. So let's do that now. Not loads, just enough. And I'm going to put a little bit. No point putting any oil on it now. I'll do that later on. There's this, you can see how that looks already. There's this sauce that I get from the local Chinese. This is how they package it. And it's really nice. It's a vegan sauce. I get it from the Chinese store. And when I order sautés. And so I want to put a little bit of that in there because the flavor is really popping. It's kind of like a, what does it taste like? It's not like a barbecue sauce. It's more like, I don't know, some type of gravy-ish type flavor. I don't know how to explain it, but it tastes nice. It's kind of like a cross between sweet and savory. Just pour the rest in there. I'll use that for the beef. All right. And with the tofu, I do not kind of dig it up too much. Like I don't want to break it. So usually I just toss it. And that seems good. Now I can put, now I've got kind of like a base going on here. I'm going to go ahead and put some more of the tofu in there. Just didn't have the space before. And when I do this, I usually do one of two things. I will either put it in the air fryer or I will put it in the oven if I'm just running the oven. And another great thing I do as well with breakfast is, I don't know if you've ever had, I'm British, so like, you know, grilled tomatoes would be part of the English breakfast. So I also will kind of get 1.5 kilos of tomatoes a week and we'll just basically cut them in half, you know, tidy them up and put some nutritional yeast and a little bit of parsley and that mushroom seasoning, and just put those in the oven to grill. And ooh, it's so good with those omelettes. That with some of my vegan ham, oh man, it's so good. It's really, really good. That, and then my hubby will have bread with it. If I've got vegan, like the pita bread that I can eat with the flour I can eat, I'll put that with it. If not, I'll have it just that, but I won't have the ham anymore. And like I was saying before, I'm gonna figure out a non-gluten version of the sausage recipe that I have. I should try and see if I can just show you guys the real sausage recipe, because my hubby still eats the gluten, so it's perfectly fine for me to make it and he'll eat it. But I make some really, really great sausages. Like, they're super meaty. They even please meat eaters, so definitely solid recommend. Some of the vegan sausages out there, they're ridiculously expensive, like unnecessarily so, in my opinion. But the other problem is some of them kind of like, most of them have methylcellulose in it, which I would recommend looking up. It is not good for your heart. I know I have a reaction when I have that, but a lot of vegan meats, especially from Trader Joe's, has it. And so when I make the vegan sausage, it doesn't have any crap in it. It's just like, I can trust it. I know it's going to be all right, and I'm not going to get any reaction from having it. But the other benefit is it's just so much cheaper. Like here, 6 vegan sausages are like almost $6 or $7. And I just think, you know, it's just a lot for a small amount. And I will spend the same money, probably about $8, and I can make 50 to 60 of them. And then when I do batches, like if I do a crazy big batch, I can make 100 of them for like $8. So I don't have children. So to answer your question, am I bringing up my children vegan? No, I don't have any, but just me and my hubby. My sister was vegan. She had 4 kids. She brought her kids up vegan. That's the easy answer. And no, you didn't tread on any toes. I'm not emotional about it. I'm good. Let me see. Now let's get one thing I do like though is, like, you know, bringing flavors in that kids can like. I'm a great auntie. Like, I love kids. I love kids, especially that I can give back. But like making things that they love, whether that's cookies or, you know, just general meals, but just making it that it has the tenets of things that a non-meat eater would eat. That's the kind of vegan I've been for so many years. I've never been that kind of vegan who went for like chickpeas and lentils and all that kind of stuff. I've always been like, I used to eat meat. I want to eat like how I used to eat meat, but just not meat. And so that's what kind of made me a little bit more keen, just putting a bit of paprika on it, to have flavors that remind me, or that just didn't feel too alien to being a, you know, a meat eater. But, you know, delicious is delicious. A lot of the time, like my non-vegan friends, most of my friends are non-vegan, and they really, really love my food. And I'll get invited to come to events, and people will be like, can you bring some of your food? And everybody knows me as the one who can cook. And I cook like non-vegan food really well as well. I can just cook, it's fine. I wanted to get a little bit more of this on it. Where did I just put that thing? I left it in there. Alright, hang on. I'll use this next one. Do you have any other questions for me? I'm more than happy to answer them while I'm making this. What things would you like to eat? What do you like to eat? What do you want to do more of? What flavors are you missing? I actually do a really good vegan cheese as well. I haven't got any coconut milk, so I can't show you right now, but you've never eaten meat? Wow! So do you get put off by things that look like or seem meaty? Because I know some people are like that. They just don't like, they don't like anything that seems meaty at all. I mean, I've never had that off-put because I was raised eating meat and fish. But I never ate any of the quote-unquote exciting meats. Like, I never had lobster, which the idea of doing it that now is like, no. I don't have any excitement or desire to do it, but I never had lobster. I don't even ever remember having a steak. I have had tuna steak, but not actually like, you know, a steak at a restaurant. I never had that. So a lot of the things that I've learned to do, like I make really good vegan steaks, but it's based on my experience with tuna steak, knowing what that texture should be like, looking at a lot of videos. Okay, Tim, I will definitely buy some coconut milk, coconut cream, so I can actually make that, and then I'll be sure to post it in the Seitan Society group as well, because it is very good. I mean, it's incredibly convincing, and there's a couple of different ways to do it. Like if you do it and then you leave it with like carrageenan, I've done that a couple of times, and then just leave it and it gets like stiff, and then you leave it in the fridge, and the miso in it helps to develop a flavor that isn't there when you first make it on day one. So like day 7, day 10, day 15, even up to day 20 is like the flavor just continues to improve over time. So I'll definitely get some. It's not hard to get. I'll just get some and make a video on it in the next week or so. But yeah, so this is pretty much ready now. I wouldn't add any more to this. I'm just gonna give it a quick taste test. Oh, that's good. That's good. It's got a mild flavor. I taste the mushroom. I would probably, if I had 2 hands right now, I would probably add some garlic, crushed garlic to it, just to kind of let the flavors continue to meld in. But I will do that when I'm going to cook it, which will be fine. So what I'll do now is I'll kind of like cover this, put it in the fridge, and then I will, I'll just get this put in the fridge, and then I'll basically leave it until tomorrow. And then when I'm going to have lunch, like 10 minutes early, I'll just cook it, and then it'll get brown on the outside. It get a little bit puffy, and then I'm going to have sugar, I forgot the quinoa. I'm going to start my quinoa now. And then I'll have it with quinoa, some of this. I've got string beans, salad, what else? A whole bunch of stuff, but it will be like a whole load of food, but it will be like light in terms of the carbs. I'm having clean carbs now, as opposed to like, bad carbs. I can't eat potatoes at all because it makes my heart rate go too fast. So I will have the quinoa or whole wheat pasta, which I discovered last week was good. And I also found cassava flour pasta, it's pasta but spirals made from cassava flour, so that was really delicious. All right, so you said that animal products are revolting to me. Okay, fair enough. A lot of people feel like that. So being able to have stuff that just tastes good, that doesn't look too animally, I think is your deal. And nothing wrong with that. I'm not hating on it at all. For me personally, if I have to, cook, I want to cook stuff that just tastes good. My most important thing is texture and flavor. As long as the texture and flavor are good, the look is important, but the look is important after texture and flavor. So this is pretty much okay, so I'm going to wrap this up. Now I have to turn over my vegan beef again. I'm going to do my quinoa, it's heavy now. I won't bother counting, but suffice to say there's more than 40 pieces here. And these are all done, and they're nice. They're getting cool. They're not 100% cool yet. I could spread them out, but I don't really care to, because I've still got other things to do, and then they can be kind of cooling down in that time. I've also got some plantains, so I might just cook the plantains in the oven, because the oven is already running with the vegan beef in there. And yeah, that's pretty much all of my prep done. Oh, okay. Yes, I did misunderstand you. So you don't have any problems with the vegan meat. Okay, fair enough. All right. Well, some people do. Some people don't like the idea of it even, or the look of it. All right, so let me get this out, and I want to show you the development, because the texture, every time we take it out, every 20 to 30 minutes, the texture changes. So remember what it looked like before. I want to show you what it looks like now. Look at that. Ah, come on, stop being so blurry. There we go. Look at that. So the actual texture you can see is just different to what it was before. Let's see if I can get it a bit up here. Let me do it with a fork, it's probably easier to see. And it's got a firmness to it, it's got moisture to it because it's cooking in the glaze, the broth. Right, so let's flip it and then you'll see what it looks like underneath. So this is the side that's kind of getting more exposure to the heat, then it's drier. Ouch. Here we go, finally. Look at that. It's so pretty. All right, so I can feel that I need to turn the temperature down. I don't want it to get spongy. And I don't want it to overcook, so I'm going to put that temperature right down to like just under 150 and then leave it on for longer. Let me just show you here. So tender. Sorry about the heat, it makes it hard to see. It just is so delicious. It's really, really good. The flavor profile is really good with this. Where's that little piece? There's a little one in between. Where are you? Here you are. All right. Now I'm gonna go for the big part. It's very heavy. So hold on 1 second. I need this because it's hot. I want to see what it looks like underneath. All right. Just so beautiful, the color. And then what I'll do is just pour some more of this lovely seasoning gravy on top. And I'm going to keep that temperature right down. That's just garlic, by the way. You're welcome. I'm so glad that you joined me. I started this little baby channel, not really because I wanted to be a food YouTuber, but really because I wanted to, once I made that vegan ham, I was like, people have to see this. This is amazing. And I wanted to just share, and it's just a great opportunity to be able to share this stuff with you guys and know that you're going to take it home and do something with it and, feed your families. Food makes people happy, and serving people, making people happy, making people food happy is like a big thing for me. I'm glad that you enjoyed the breakfast cooking. It's beautiful, 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 beautiful omelettes. And having that with the ham, you guys have seen. If you haven't already seen my ham recipe, you are missing out. Go ahead and check it on the channel. But yeah, it's just really, really good stuff. So I'm just going to leave this in here now on a low heat for probably another 30 minutes. So that it will just kind of continue that lovely process of cooking. I pretty much finished my wedges. These need a bit more time, I can see that. What they're screaming for is a little bit more oil. And I don't want to put too much oil on there, just give it a little spray. Now I'll put it on for another 4 minutes. And once these cool down, the wedges, putting them in the freezer is just an easy way of just having something available within 15 minutes ready to eat. That's it. Why are you like this? Stop it. Okay, that's it. All right, so yes, please do go and watch the video about the what do you call it, the vegan ham. It is a breakdown. It shows you everything. And then last week or 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks ago, oh my gosh, time is going so fast, somebody asked me a specific question about how to mix the wheat gluten, and I happened to be making it at that time, so I showed a whole nother video just like really being clear on how to make sure that the dough is right. So please watch my videos, please share them. Please make sure that you comment, ask questions. I do answer the questions. I'll go through there a couple of times a week and just kind of look and see if anybody's asked anything and try to answer it as best I can. But yeah, that's gonna be my lunches for the week. This will do more than a week. I'm not gonna eat all this in 1 week, but at least I'll be in a better position to have a better food preparation this week than I was last week. And I can just kind of like cook these, put them in the fridge, and then they're going to be good for me. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being part of my day. I'm grateful to be part of yours. For the beef, that will just basically keep going for another, I want to say hour, but I'll turn it over every 20 minutes or so and just put a little bit more of the sauce on it. And then once that's finished, I'll just leave it to cool down for a few hours, put it in the fridge, and then tomorrow I'll break off pieces and blend it up, and then I'm going to make some dishes with that, which will cover us for the week. I'm making a mess in the room. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful weekend. I really appreciate you guys. So take care, and I'll see you again. Bye for now.